Hello, today I want to do a bit of harvesting in the veg garden, and while I'm here, as promised, I'll do a little bit of a flower tour and let you know some of the flowers that I've got growing in the vegetable garden. I'm Zorab and this is Byther Farm. I don't very often show you this border. It's the one as I first come into the vegetable garden. It's quite a big one with shrubs in it and other stuff. So there's a New Zealand flax there. This is Acer Flamingo. Absolutely love this, and I'm considering moving it in the winter when it's dormant. I have another space that I think it would be better in. There's an awful lot of this, which is figwort. It's a wildflower. I brought it with me from my last place. I almost wish I hadn't, because it just appears everywhere and it's a tough old plant to get rid of. And it does seem to seed itself in the most difficult, awkward places, but it's really good for attracting wasps to the garden. They absolutely love the kind of almost insignificant brown flowers. It's really hard to get a picture of them again because they're so small. There are some pots of flowers waiting to go into the food forest, but I suspect that they've now rooted themselves into the soil here. And this is a Desdemona rose, and I got this rose, put it in here, loved it so much that's when I asked if we could have the standard roses. In the corner here is Acer Crimson King. It's going to get really big eventually, but for now it's looking great. I actually quite like it to be a little bit bigger, but time will bring that. And then in the corner here, which is the first plant that I see when I come into the garden, is a Rose Jeff Hamilton. It was named after the TV presenter of Gardener's World, and it's a reminder that he was the person who taught me so much about gardening back in the late 1970s and early 80s. Beds 1 and 2 have very few flowers in them at this time of year, but what I have got is the flowers from the Welsh bunching onions there, and there are some calendula, which are now just self-sown ones, but I'm more than happy to have those in there as long as it's not too many and they don't harbour and give home for lots and lots of slugs. They're fine. There are a few weeds going to flower. This is some sort of rocket by the look of it. I don't necessarily want those growing further in the garden. Things like the Sweet Cicely flowered earlier in the year, so they flowered in spring. Now we've just got their seeds, which I'm happy to sprinkle around. Bed number 3 is absolutely buzzing with bees and wasps and other flying insects. This is Nepeta, so catmint or catnip, but it's a white variety. The buds have got a pink tinge to them, and then their flowers open to being white with tiny little pink marks in them. I almost can't pick up how beautiful they are because they're so tiny, but when you zoom in with a magnifying lens, they look like tiny little orchids. Very happy with those. These alliums are not ornamental alliums, they're leeks. We've got the seed heads here from Aquilegia that was out in the spring. I'll sprinkle a few more of those around. And down here is a mauve and white hosta flower, which goes really nicely with the red of Acer Bloodgood here. And in the front corner of this bed, there is this beautiful purple monarda. Fabulous. And then this is thyme, which is in flower. And again, the flowers are very pale pink, almost white, but not quite. Really pretty, and you can see the same colours reflected in the alliums in the background there. Bed number 4 has these lovely poppy heads. These are beautiful purple poppies that were out earlier in the year. I'm letting them go to seed and I'll collect the seeds. Here's a white lupin, mostly it's gone over, and I need to come out and deadhead this to encourage more flowers. At the back here is Norcia macedonica, which is like a little vibrant pinky purple. Well, it's more like deep crimson pink. And in front of it is a pink monarda. It's got very much a mauve, white, dark pink feel to the bed here. Bed number 5 has sweet corn and scarlet kale in the centre, courgettes at the end, and there's also some squash plants which I put down in their pots meaning to plant them. I didn't get around to planting them and they've gone rooted through their pots into the ground, so I'm just going to leave those to grow. Bed number 6 is one of the 4 central beds and is chock-a-block with flowers, but also with herbs and plants that I can use in potpourri. So let's start here with a bronze fennel, which is now in flower. Just like the flowers of parsnip plants, they attract lots of lacewings and hoverflies, as well as wasps and bees. And down here was a pale white astrantia. Now it's gone to seed, and I have been sprinkling the seeds quite a lot. There's a lavender likewise gone to seed, and a peony that's flowering is over. There are some chives. These are sort of a garlicky chive, but they still produce those lovely purple flowers. This rose is one of 4 that I was given for my birthday last year. How lucky am I? I've always thought of standard roses as being a little bit old-fashioned. And is it because I'm getting older, or is it just that I've realised what a good use of space they are? So they take up very little space in the ground, and then they put all the flowers up here. It's great because it's at face height, so you get the fragrance as you walk through. These are actually really strongly fragranced. It's lovely, but they leave plenty of space for growing things underneath. Now it's a bit of a clash of colour, and I'm not entirely sure I want to keep this Rebecca here. So I'm going to go with what my father said, which was there's no such things as a clash of colours in nature. I'm not convinced. It's been there for 3 years, and actually, do you know, I just quite like the cheeriness of them. And then I've got 2 different monadas, a pale pink and a deep pink. And then here is geranium phaeum summerbore. It's not usually in flower at this time of year, but I cut it back really hard, so now it's having a sort of second flush of flowers, and the flowers are dark purple, single flower, so just 1 row of petals. Absolutely gorgeous, and I love the way they sort of have a deeper purple than this monada, and they blend or tone, or whatever the right word is, with the pale monada. Bed number 7 is noisy, to say the least. At this end there's an Asturian tree cabbage which has gone to flower, so it's got the yellow flowers there. There's a very pale mauve monada and a medium to bright pink Norcia macedonica. There's plenty of oregano, maybe it's marjoram, I can't remember which I bought, probably marjoram, but it's got a very nice dark purple bud and mid mauve flower. Again, there's this white Nepeta. Now, there used to be one over that side, but I lifted that and used it in a special project, which I'll tell you about in a second. I've actually got lots of plants in here that reflect the bed on the other side. I also have a vast quantity of rosebay willow herb, which wasn't supposed to be in here, but has made its way here. So there's a peony, another one of the geraniums, another monada. This time it's a green rather than a bronze fennel, and then round that side is a sedum autumn joy. Now sedum have got a new name. I'll put the botanical name up on the screen because I'm afraid for me they'll probably always be called sedum. And then at this end there's a lovely pinky mauve monada and a variegated thyme with really quite a similar colour flower. That's really nice. And even the rosebay willow herb, the colour matches. It's quite tempting to leave those ones in when it does things like that. This is a dahlia. It's growing in a pot. I can't remember which dahlia it is, so it's been sitting there all summer. I haven't got it into the ground, so it's about to flower. I'm just going to let it do its thing. And at the back of bed 7 here is an echinacea. I think this is called Prima Donna White. The rosebay willow herb that's gone to seed, and down here is something else which I'm not sure what it is. So I'll wait till it flowers to find out. Bed number 8 is a riot of colour at the moment, mostly yellows and whites. I'm really pleased with this. So this is chop suey greens. The reason I've got it in this bed is not because I sowed loads of seeds, but because the plants had gone to seed in the polytunnel last year. I put the plants into the compost heap. Obviously it didn't get hot enough because it didn't kill off the seeds, and so in this bed I've got masses of these, effectively almost self-sown, except I sowed them in the compost. And there are also masses and masses of forget-me-nots here that will flower next year. I'm actually going to move a lot of those because next in this bed I'm going to put some more brassicas and some leeks. And the one thing I do know is that slugs love hiding in amongst the forget-me-nots, and so I don't want to put brassicas in here, just effectively inviting the slugs to eat them for dinner. Perhaps I should talk about the roseberry willow herb. I haven't got to clear it this year. It's now gone to seed again. It's going to make it 10 times harder next year. So hopefully this week I can come in and clear a lot of those weeds. I'm probably kidding myself if I say that. At some point I will come and clear those weeds, but I think next year I'm going to have to be much better about coming up here and clearing the pathways on a very regular basis and clearing any of them out of the beds. This year I've been off to quite a lot of shows, and I've made the decision I'm probably going to go to fewer shows next year so I can actually spend more time doing what I love most, which is pottering in the garden. Bed number 9 has got the brassicas in it, and so here we are, bed number 10. And they're all fairly similar because I wanted them to kind of reflect each other and almost look like one large bed, but with a few added extras in each one. So Nepeta's the same, but there are 2, maybe 3 different types of phlox there. They've been very slow in forming clumps. I'm pleased to see that this year each one has sent up more than one stem, and hopefully in a couple of years' time they'll be really big clumps. This wonderful orange, almost tangerine colour flower, it's a geum and it's called Totally Tangerine, and it is the most amazing orange colour. And this has flowered for me right around the year, and we had flowers in Christmas week. It's been literally right through winter, 1 or 2 flowers, and now in the summer it's produced masses of flowers. And I have been really vigilant about deadheading, as she says, popping the flowers off a few more. Mostly I've been around with scissors, and rather than just popping the tops off, I've taken the stems back so there aren't lots of pointy stems. But keeping on deadheading will send a message to the plant that it hasn't produced seeds yet and so needs to grow some more flowers, and that's how to keep them going. In the corner here we've got some Thalictrum, which flowered earlier in the year, and some Dicentra spectabilis, which I think also has a new name. I'll put it on the screen. There are geums, there's ochre, which is an edible, but I'm using it as a ground cover. And again, around the front there is some more of that geum, Phaeum summerbore. Here we've got some more monarda, but this time an absolutely vivid scarlet one. This purpley leaf plant with mauve flowers is Penstemon digitalis, and I think it's Mystic Mauve, but whatever the colour is, I'll make sure I've put that on the screen too. And here is a peony, it's yellow. I think this one's Bartzella. It's absolutely glorious in the spring. We had 10 flowers on it this year. I can't tell you how excited I am by that. So that's this bed. Oh, and the other thing that's in this bed is plenty of Alchemilla mollis. The Alchemilla is one of the plants that I used in another bed that I created recently, and that was a small show garden bed for the Royal Welsh Show 2025. Hello, I'm not at home today. I'm at the Royal Welsh Showground near Bilthwells, and I'm setting up a micro garden today. So I was invited to create a garden that's 1.3 metres by 2.6, and I'm calling it a Sense and Sensibility garden, and it's inspired by my grandchildren, my grandsons, one of whom is autistic, and he likes the smell of things, he likes to touch plants, he likes the different textures and sounds of soils and mulches, and so I'm incorporating all of those ideas into this border. So here it is. It's already the border is already created, and I'm just starting to put in some supports to hold plants up. Now you'll recognise a lot of these because they've come from my garden, and then there are other plants that I've bought and some that I've been given. So here we are a few hours later, and it's all planted up. It's got its mulch, it's been watered, and I'm really pleased with the results. So here's the mulch. This is crushed whelk shells. It's from a Welsh company called Shell on Earth. And then we've got some French lavender. Do I deadhead these before the show? Maybe. But anyway, there's some French lavender there, and some basil and marjoram. And then moving up a bit, there's this rose, which is sceptred isle, and that's a David Austin rose. And here are some cosmos that I grew from seed. I'll leave links to all of these plants on my website, and so there'll be a link in the video description to that. Lovely grasses, which I grew from very small plants a couple of years ago. And here we have some silver mint. So there's actually 3 silver mints in this border, and a nepeta. It's looking a bit thirsty now, but hopefully it will pick up in the next day or two as it settles in. But this is a white nepeta rather than a blue one. Underneath there's an eau de cologne mint, geranium stormy night, and senecio angel wings. And then there's a lot packed into this corner. The lavender, I don't know which variety that is. There's 2 lots of mint, and this is berries and cream, and some more basil. There's an allium called Millennium, and this is Philopendula meadow sweet. It smells amazing. It smells of somewhere like vanilla and honey and almonds. There is a red cosmos, and over in this corner are some very happy bees on these allium. These are Welsh bunching onions. Look at that bee. They arrived so quickly after I started planting the garden. And here's some marjoram, likewise with bees and wasps and hoverflies on it, and a shuttlecock fern which has been growing in our garden, and I lifted several of these to bring. And along the side has some more grass and an agastache blackadder, several more ferns which came from the garden. This is a coleus which I actually bought in because I didn't have anything else that was this colour. I was hoping to grow something that there was this kind of some sort of edible leaf that colour, but that didn't happen. I would like to say that they failed, but I failed to sow the seeds. So the white cosmos again, and then down here is some coriander, and in this corner is Alchemilla mollis. And bed number 11 is the last of the 4 central beds. And starting at this end, there is Veronicastrum cupid. There is some more of the marjoram with the very dark buds. There's some more of the phlox, and this one could be bright eyes. There's some alchemilla, and then this is phlomis or phlomis. It has yellow flowers in these whorls. I would have hoped for more flowers on this year, but I suspect it's getting a bit congested. And I suspect it's also taking quite a lot of nutrients from the rose, because this rose plant is certainly the smallest. So one of my jobs this autumn is to remove quite a chunk of this phlomis, take it through to the forest garden. Moving along, there is geranium Mrs. Kendall Clark, another of the very bright pink monarda, and then another of the Nussia Macedonica with their amazing, I can't even describe the colour, it's almost burgundy, but it's brighter than that. The flowers in bed number 12 are on the Greek Gigantes beans. They haven't been hugely happy this year, I suspect, even though we've had quite a bit of rain here in West Wales. I suspect there either aren't enough nutrients or there's just not enough moisture in the ground for them. But as it's been raining this morning and it's due to rain again in a little while, hopefully that will sort that out. Bed number 13 is actually a really small bed, but it brings me a huge amount of joy. So this is Agastache Blackadder. The bees love it. There's lots of bumblebees on here at the moment, which is great. And then some more marjoram down there. And I suspect that might be a golden one, or it's a gold tip leaf, something like that. Bed number 14 is unlike any of the other beds in as much that it's got this bright red monarda and the yellow rudbeckia together, which is really striking. But most of my garden is quite gentle and subtle, and this is really in your face. I quite like it. So the marjoram again with the very dark purple flower buds and the pale mauve flowers. And then here I've got a dwarf Jerusalem artichoke, which also has yellow flowers, but not yet. Bed number 15 has the large rhubarb plants at each end. That's the Timperley early, so I'm not harvesting that now. I'm just allowing the leaves to grow and get all the energy from the sun to go back into the root, ready for next year. The flowers in this bed, there is a digitalis there. Now I know everyone goes, oh, you're growing foxgloves in a vegetable garden. Well, yes, but then I know not to eat them. I know to wash anything in the bed very carefully that's been around them, and nobody else is harvesting from my garden. So as far as I'm concerned, it's safe to have them. These wonderful allium flowers, these wonderful globes of flower, are leeks. So they're leeks that I planted last year and I've allowed them to flower. Aren't these amazing? Think how much we would pay for allium bulbs that did this for, an ornamental garden. My advice is, if you have some leeks in your garden, leave a few to go to seed, because look how beautiful they are. Bed number 16. This is the one that I promised myself I would, next time I was weeding, I would come through and start with this bed. Well, that's not what I did. So now I have a bed full of rosebay willow herb again. Now, it's going to be a nuisance next year. It's a bit of a nuisance this year, but they do look beautiful. So, I'm just going to take a positive from this and just say, well, they were pretty. So here we've got a mallow. So this is a wild mallow. I have planted it, but it's a wild mallow. There's a sedum, spectabile autumn joy again there. I can see there's some brassicas here that are sending up shoots for flowers. I can't even remember what that was. It was something I planted very late. Hey ho. At the front there is some astrantia. It's a very dark red one, so I think it's rubra. It's gone over now. The seeds are there. I need to collect some and I need to sprinkle some. The fern that you can see is a shuttlecock fern. They actually get really big and tall. They get to sort of 5 feet, 1.5 metres tall when they're in moist conditions. But it's quite dry in this bed, so they're still staying quite small, but they do spread. They spread through like a rhizome. And at the front there is another peony, which produced, 3 or 4 flowers this year. Not as many as the one over there, but still, I'm really pleased with it. And shall we just mention the dock there, which you can see last year's seed heads are still there. So that has been sitting there waiting for me to do something with it for at least 2 years now. It'll come eventually. Now I am in the process of filming a tour of the food forest, the forest garden, but in the meantime, if you want a reminder of what it looks like, I'll leave a link on the screen and also in the video description.